mortgage fraud. Matt actually served over 12 years in prison for mortgage fraud. He was #1 on the Secret Service most wanted list, FBI most wanted list.
Thing is that both of them were looking for me. I owned a mortgage company. I had 10 or 12 guys working for me. We were doing little fraud here. I say little fraud. There's no little fraud. So, you're changing a 30-day late. I'm changing W-2s and pay stubs. I'm making W-2s and pay stubs. I'm doing minor things to get the loan to go through underwriting. You go in and you say, look, I'm a plumber and I make $120,000 a year, and really you make $60,000 a year. One, you're already committing fraud. But the difference is that I'm coming up with the actual documents. I'm creating a document saying he works for a company that also doesn't exist. Then I would create online banks that don't exist. I'd create bank statements that don't exist. Send everything to underwriting. You can verify it. You can go on the Secretary of State's website. You can verify the tax ID number. And of course, then I'm charging a premium. I end up getting indicted. Basically, it ended up being wire fraud because I had lied on an application and allowed someone to acquire a bunch of loans that they shouldn't have acquired. They got the loans. I end up getting in trouble. I end up getting 3 years probation, but I can't own the mortgage company anymore. I should have stepped back and said, you know what, I'm going to claim bankruptcy. I'm going to move into my parents' spare room. I'm going to go get a job at Walmart and realize I've got an opportunity here.
You dodged a bullet.
I'm good. I'm starting over. I'm a narcissistic prick, and I just couldn't stomach stepping back. And so what I did was instead, I said, no, I'm going to step it up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start flipping houses. And all the problems with flipping houses, they don't appraise high enough. You have to put too much money into them. You have to find a qualified buyer. All of those things I knew I could overcome. So I start creating synthetic identities. I start buying houses for $40,000 and recording the value of those houses at $200,000. I drive the prices up. The median price in those areas was $75,000. And I drove it up to about $250,000. I created these fake people to buy houses that I was buying for $50,000, recording the value, sales price at $200,000, and then just putting maybe $5,000 or $10,000 into the house. I got the hard money guys would lend the money, and I just go and say, hey, I need you to lend money on this house. I've got a guy that will buy it. And that eliminated me having to create a purchase and a refi. What would happen is I would go to title companies because I had been in the industry. So I know that at Lawyers Title, I know the title people. I can't go in there and say, hey, my name is David Silver. I would set up the whole thing, and then I'd call them up and say, listen, David can't get off work. Can I pick up the package and then drop it off to him and have him sign it? They'd go, oh gosh, okay, but you got to get a copy of his driver's license. I have to notarize everything. Of course. They cut me a check.
And David Black is not even a real person. He's nothing.
No.